Hi, my name is Scott. Today I'm going to show you how I built this lovely wall display cabinet. Everything is resawed, and that's going to allow me to get the cabinet entirely out of 2 board feet of maple, and that includes the door rail and stiles, the cabinet case itself, and the cabinet back. So I'm running into a bit of an issue. My bandsaw can't resaw anything, especially the 6-inch hard maple. Now I'm trying to joint it for a flat face, and it's basically turning into a veneer. But that gives me an idea. I can laminate it to a piece of 1/4-inch MDF so that the back has some meat to it where I can screw things in. Wipe it under the bench. Yeah. I'm not using breather mesh here because the surface is rough enough where the air should flow just perfectly fine. Now I'll let this bake in the vacuum for a couple hours, and I'll come back and get to work on cleaning it up. I've milled up the case sides and the rails and stiles, so now I can cut them to length, and I'm going to do that in such a way where I'm going to achieve continuous grain around the entire case. Now that the case sides are cut, I can cut the box joints that's going to hold the case together. Just checking the fit, and it seems pretty good, so I can go ahead and cut the opposite side. Now let's see if this is gonna fit. Lovely. Now I can cut the groove for the back panel. Now that the dados are cut for the back to fit into the case, I can cut the back down to size and cut rabbets all around it so they fit into those dados. So let's see if this fits. It's a little tight. Too tight. Gotta recut that. All right, now I'll try again. Seriously. What? I think it's a little too tight still. I mean, I can force it in, but when it comes time to gluing it up, it might suck. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Come on! I have an idea. One more time. Ha ha ha! There it is. Boom! It's a drawer. Time to glue it up. Okay, now I'm not going to glue the bottom in. It's not exactly a solid panel, but it's not exactly plywood either. So I'm just going to play it safe and not glue it and leave it floating. So I'm going to give them a squeeze, and I'm going to back it off a little bit so I don't introduce any sort of bowing or bending. A little tap. That is not square at all. So it's only been in the clamps for a couple minutes, but it really doesn't need a whole lot of time in the clamps for the glue to set up enough where it's not going to spread apart again. That's if your joints are nice fitting. So this way I'm not going to introduce too much bow by putting too much pressure for too long of a period. And the joints are remaining tight. They're fine. They don't need to be squeezed to death for a long time. I need to cut the joinery for the door of the cabinet. Because the door parts are so thin, I'm going to use half laps. Like a glove. Next, I need to cut the rabbets in the door for the glass. While I do that, if you could do me a solid and like and subscribe, that'd be sick. I squared off the corners with a chisel and now I can glue it up. That's good. Square. There it is. Seriously? Come on. Oh, that's better. That's not. Why? This is a disaster. I am calm. Gonna do it again. It's fine. Good enough. I'll deal with the consequences later. Time to see how it turned out. Doesn't seem terrible. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, why was I freaking out? I don't know. So now it's time to clean this up, and I'm gonna do that at the edge sander. It's time to install these knife hinges on the door, and I'm just going to use a chisel to mortise it out on the cabinet. Beautiful. Look at that. I'm going to install these little nubbins in here, and then I'm going to glue some neodymium magnets to the door and the nubbins on top and bottom. Look at that. Beautiful fit. Perfect. Shop projects are a great time to experiment with finishes, so I'm going to be dyeing this. I've already done some samples and now I'm ready to start. Ooh, look at that curl. I am tired of this finishing process. I've put 3 coats of dye on it, sanded in between, done 4 or 5 coats of shellac, sanded in between, accidentally sanded through the shellac once, and that was frustrating, but here I am, and I'm almost done. So now I'm going to put some wax on it and buff it out. So now it's time to glue the magnets in. I was gonna use epoxy, but I just don't want to mix up a huge batch of epoxy. Now it's time to cut the glass for the door, and to do that, I'm gonna use this picture frame cutter. And with any luck, yeah! To affix the glass in the door, I'm gonna use some silicone. Now I just gotta pop it in place. So that silicone is white, but it's gonna turn clear, and that's definitely strong enough to hold the glass, and it's actually removable in case I ever need to replace it. Once again, I'm just using CA glue to glue in the knob because don't want to mix up a whole whack of epoxy. Oh boy, it's tight. There we go. So this project was successful in that I learned quite a few things, which is another way of saying I made a bunch of mistakes. I built this display cabinet for my dust collection system because everyone knows you need a display cabinet for your dust collection system. Check out my next video to see what I mean.